That down. Let's go on to this, shall we? Netflix just recently put out an original movie. And by the way, just a reminder as a public service, 95% of all Netflix original films absolutely suck donkey ass. Every once in a while, they'll put out a diamond. They will. Every once in a while they do. They'll put out something that I really like. Case in point, the new Electric State, which may not be the worst thing, but it's not gotten favorable reviews. And it is ludicrously expensive. Reports say that the film cost $320 million to make. Now, they did it with the filmmakers of the Avengers films and stuff like that. Netflix was truly hoping this was going to be the next high peak standard of all their stuff. But according to a report now, they're saying while Electric State did debut at number 1 for them, the numbers were far below what they were hoping it would be. And while they were hoping it would be the new number 1 film on their platform, it looks now, according to Coming Soon, it likely won't enter the top 10 of their stuff. Now, you don't have to be the best movie to be at the top of their list, because I believe the number 1 all-time movie on their list is still that horrible Dwayne Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot movie, Red Notice, which was, I love Rock, I love Ryan Reynolds, awful movie, just awful. And it's their number 1 film of all time. But it didn't cost $320 million to make. And it really calls into question, because Rob, I feel like we've been having this discussion about the money that Netflix spends on things is ridiculous. And even the director of Electric State, Joe Russo, of course, he co-directed with his brother, Anthony Russo. But even Joe Russo said, yeah, we shouldn't be spending this much money on these movies. This is what, when asked about the budget and project.
Does that mean he's going to give his paycheck back?
Yeah, I doubt it. He said this: they ascribe the same algorithmic attention to something they spend a lot of money on as something they spend very little money on. By that model, you should probably just make everything for medium number, right? Logically, it probably doesn't make a ton of sense to continue to spend this way. But I think they might, because people still believe in ambition. So I still think you'll see some of those pop through, but I don't think it's going to be a healthy part of the business model. The director of the most expensive movie Netflix has ever done has just come out and said, yeah, this isn't a healthy way to do business. Probably shouldn't be spending $300 million on a movie that is never going to make you a penny. Because, like, how many people signed up for Netflix that weren't already on Netflix just so they could go and watch Electric State? I'm sure some. $320 million worth?
No.
I don't think so. So it's about, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Indeed. Okay, so you just realized your business needed to hire somebody like yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs helps you stand out and hire fast. With sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for the right candidates so you can reach the best talent faster. And it works. Indeed's data shows that sponsored jobs get 45% more application than non-sponsored jobs. The thing I'm impressed most with Indeed is how fast it makes hiring. When I was looking to hire somebody for the John Campea Show, the process felt slow and overwhelming. I hate it. I wish I had used Indeed. And you want to know how fast Indeed is? In just the minute that I've been talking to you, 23 hires were made on Indeed worldwide. So don't wait. Speed up your hiring now with Indeed. And for listeners of this show, you get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Campea. Just go to Indeed.com/Campea and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed here. That's Indeed.com/Campea. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. Rob, in all business, including entertainment, we always talk about ROI, return on investment. What are you getting for what you're spending? That's the key metric for basically any business at all in the world. Netflix, despite their success, has always had terrible ROI. I mean, sometimes they knock it out of the park with really small, low budget stuff, and kudos to them, particularly with their television stuff. Their TV shows, they're really good. They're not quite HBO or Apple Plus level, but they're really good. But I mean, this type of thing, are you surprised that Electric State didn't get, again, it was number one, but below what they were expecting. Are you surprised it didn't get bigger numbers? And what do you think about Joe Russo's thought that this probably isn't a healthy business model?
First of all, if Joe Russo believes that, then why is he contributing? I mean, look, I always go back to think about Jimmy Fallon in Almost Famous. He says you got to get what you can, when you can, while you can. You know, and in terms of getting paid, I have no problem with people getting paid as much as they want. But the thing about this is, it doesn't make sense. You know, I'm always obsessing about people have 2 hours of time. And if you can watch a movie that costs $10 million and it delivers the goods, it has an emotional wallop, it's a great story, how is that any different from watching a movie that costs $300 million? What is the difference when you think about how entertaining that 2 hours of time was? You can watch a YouTube show and be just as entertained. That costs very little to make from the people who are giving you user-generated content. So when you spend $350 million, I mean, I would expect an orgasmic, literally, I want to have an orgasm at the end of that $350 million experience. Because if not, why are you spending that much money? Like, imagine, John, you could have only spent $200 million. I mean, we're talking about an insane amount of money that makes no sense. Now, Electric State, I watched it, and I think, look, there's some incredible effects work on display. Incredible.
Yeah, visually it looks really good.
Incredible. And I can see where they spared no expense developing the effects work and the imagery and the design. Really cool stuff. But what it didn't capture, you know, it's based on a book. It's based on this, you know, art. It doesn't capture what the book captured. And I'm like, in that way, there's something about that book. There's more of a sense of wonder to it. They kind of dumbed it down. And to me, that book, they did a disservice to spend 300. This is a weird thing to say, but they didn't get it. They missed the mark adapting the material that they were adapting. And if they had got that book right, the feel of that book, this movie, I think, would have been far more successful, and they could have spent a lot less money. You know, it's easy if you have an unlimited checkbook and you want to create all the effects that you want. Hey, you can just keep adding effects, and you can have all the CG artists around the world making as many effects as you want. But that is not responsible filmmaking. And if you're not getting the essence of what the source material was, you failed artistically and financially. I mean, it is not healthy for our business to profligate spend like this. And what does Netflix get out of it? Wouldn't you, if I had a $350 or $320 million movie, I would give it a theatrical release worldwide to get something back.
Yeah. And then put it on your streaming. And guess what? They would have got bigger streaming numbers on Netflix if they had put it in theaters first.
100%.
But that's an argument we keep having.
I
right?
know. I really don't, like Anthony or Joe Russo saying, I don't get the economics behind this at all. I mean, you know, you could have, how we're arguing, well, you could have spent $150 million less and only spent $200 million. That's crazy talk.
You know, Can I give a quick example? Like, I don't blame the Russos. Like, if Netflix wants to throw that kind of money around, all right. Here's a great example, okay? There's a TV show that a lot of people really like, and I loved the first season. It's called From.
Oh, yeah.
Right? If you guys haven't
really
checked
cool
it out,
show. Terrible title.
I highly, bad title. I highly encourage you to check it out. I loved the first season.
Really good.
And I got contacted by their PR people and said they didn't even want me to do videos of it on the YouTube channel. They just said, can you put out we're going to ask you to do 3 social media posts. Day of the premiere. Just mention that you're watching, and you can say that this is sponsored. And I did. I said, this is a sponsored post, but said, you know, the day the shows come out, just like From opens up tonight and blah, blah. Then one mid-season and then one during the finale. Just a social media post. They offered me $5,000 to do that. To which I said, yeah. Because I legitimately did. I did ask them. They sent me links first so I could watch some of the episodes to make sure it wasn't a piece of crap.
Should have done the responsible thing and told them they were being irresponsible.
Yeah. No, I didn't tell them that.
They should go
But
talk
in
to
my
the
head, I'm
parents first.
thinking, You shouldn't be giving somebody $5,000 just to be making a couple of social media posts. Like, that's ridiculous. I'll take it. Sure. Because the show was good and I actually legitimately enjoyed it. So I had no problem doing it. But I feel like that's kind of like Joe Russo right now. It's like, yeah, you want to throw $300 million at it, sure, but you probably shouldn't. I don't know.
But it's not, remember, they also did Citadel. That's a $300 million
And
debacle.
that didn't do great for them.
And they did The Gray Man, which is what, 250?
Which was horrible.
And it's
I
like,
hated that
so
movie.
these two guys, who, by the way, I love their 4 Avengers Captain America movies. I love them. I think Infinity War and Endgame are 2 of the most entertaining fantasy movies ever made. And I love Captain America Winter Soldier and Civil War. But then they went on and they used their success. And again, get as much as you can. But they made these shows and spent incredible amounts of money. And now, you know, the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is on their shoulders. What are they going to do? Make Marvel spend $600 million on each Avengers movie?
That gets around to the other discussion we've been having, though, right? Like, listen, everybody knows I don't hide it. I love Joe and Anthony Russo.
I do too.
I absolutely love them. But I haven't thoroughly enjoyed anything that they have written, directed, or produced. Somebody might
Cherry?
want to say, I didn't like Cherry at
I
all.
didn't either.
Somebody might want to say, and what's the
mean-
one they did with Chadwick Boseman again?
It was
18 Bridges or
Yeah,
something?
something like that. Terrible. I know there's a bunch of people that liked Extraction. I thought the action in Extraction was really good, but it was a stupid movie. Now, some people want to throw up, well, John, what about Everything Everywhere All at Once? They did nothing. I listen, I know the inside story on that. They absolutely did nothing on that movie. They literally got offered the movie. They said, nah. And they said, here, we'll give it to somebody else. Give us a producer credit because we're handing it off. But they literally did nothing on it. I love Joe and Anthony Russo, but I'm just saying I have not enjoyed anything that they've made as writers, directors, or producers since their time with Marvel. But I'm still extremely optimistic because, again, there's certain things in sports, in business, in creative efforts. Magic happens when you get the right combination of people together that exceed the sum of the parts.
Yeah.
And I think when you have Joe and Anthony Russo working with Kevin Feige, you get the absolute best Marvel product. Like, better than Kevin Feige without the Russos, much better than the Russos without Kevin Feige. When they work together, we've had 4 examples. Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, all of them arguably 10 out of 10s for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
And so while I have been very dubious of their work without Kevin working with them, I think their partnership with Kevin Feige, I have zero.
No, look, and look, to tell you the truth, I'm incredibly excited for Doomsday and Secret Wars, to the point where I just got, the 2 brand new Secret Wars omnibuses and delved into them, and I'm really excited, getting myself all pumped.
Do you think the Russos can be indicted for defrauding Netflix?
Did they actually? Turns out the Russos only spent $12 million on Electric State and then about $600,000 mattresses.
Well, I mean, I just think about the fact that what if they spent $250 million on Electric State and took the $70 million and let 10 filmmakers make, $8 million movies like a Lee Wanell doing Invisible Man.
Yeah.
And then they had 10 movies that they could additionally put on Netflix for the same amount of money.
All
How
right,
about that?
guys. The question is for you. What do you think about this? I mean, listen, it still got a lot of viewers. It did. Electric State got a lot of viewers. #1 on Netflix on their charts, but they're saying it was a lot lower than what they're expecting. Now probably won't even hit their top 10 all time. How do you guys feel about that? And Joe Russo saying, yeah, probably not a good business model giving us that much money to make a film. However you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.